Verse 5 says, having a form of godliness, but denying its power, and from such people, whether they're in the society or in the church, whether they are leaders in the church or proselytes in the church, he said, if you find such traits, if you find these qualities, no matter the title they carry, no matter the position they have, no matter the convoy of their cars, if you find this quality, he said, turn away from such people. Unfortunately, many generation of these Christians, we turn such people into our role models. So we have an impotent church. We have a corrupted church. A church that looks visible, but that cannot handle the smallest attack of hell. A church that is threatened by a little noise of hell, and the church toss the line. If you say that thing again, if we hear you say that thing again, and to your tent, so Israel. He said, from some people turn away quickly. Verse 6, he says, for of this sort are those who creep into households and make captives of gullible women. That is one reason why the sense in Christianity, cultural, circumstantial Christianity, goes hand in hand with financial greed and sexual immorality. Time will fail me to explain all that from scriptures. He said they go around, make captives of gullible women. Because when you study any society, especially Nigeria, where it is sense, it is circumstantial, it is cultural Christianity, who are the majority of the people you find in those churches? Christians that cannot reason. What is the correlation between coconut and the water inside coconut and Jesus Christ? What is the correlation between padlock and Jesus Christ? Then I was told of one who I knew started well about 20 something years ago in Mina. Now he does umbrella service. Come to church with the umbrella, then they anoint the umbrellas, then they pray over the umbrellas, then they say you need to sleep with that. If you are sleeping and that umbrella is over you, that your enemies cannot locate you. And I wonder which umbrella covers the whole length of a man when he's asleep. But when men don't reason, all these stupid things will make sense. Then a man of God will gather like a gathering like this, collect padlock from each of you that you brought to service yourself. Then he collects the key to your destiny from you and carries it home. Don't you know that you will forever be subservient to such a man? That's why he said they came in by stealth to spy your liberty. What makes you free? What makes you that you don't call pastor? I was told of a pastor, not even in Nigeria, in America, and not in Nigeria, in America. A pastor who told the members were saying, pastor, we did vigil. Me and my sister, we did vigil yesterday night. The pastor said, how dare you do vigil? At that time I was sleeping. Your prayer will not be answered. Because pastor was sleeping. And he is the Holy Mary through which the prayer of his members need to get to God. So when you take your money, go to market, buy padlock and lock it, clamp it, take the key and give to the supposed pastor, man of God, you are saying, the key to my destiny I hand over to you. When you go, even if you are a first timer, you didn't know, once you see those things, bring out your umbrella, bring out your handkerchief, bring out your mantle, bring out your broom, run for your. He said, from such people, turn away. Don't just turn, run. I was told by my boss, Reverend George, was in town last week, so we had time together. He said he saw a lady that had been in their church for a long time, and he was just trying to say, where have you been? He says he pointed at the lady started to spin. So he was wondering, I was just trying to point at you. I wasn't trying to minister power. Then the lady started to plead. He said, I know I've offended you. I'm sorry. He said, that was not even on my mind. I was trying to say, where have you been? And the lady started to confess. It's not me. It's not me. I went to market. I was trying to sell some things. Then somebody in the market said, you are too beautiful to be doing this kind of business. Let me take you somewhere so that you can be rich. In Ogun State, they traveled one day by road. Then they traveled another one day by trekking inside the bush. One day by vehicle, one day by trekking. Then when they got in there, he said inside the forest, it was a city inside the forest. But that's not even where I'm going. And she said that when they started telling her the things to do to get the power, she saw bishops that we see on television, up to 5, seated naked. And the man, occultic man, was saying, this one, he wants power for miracles in his church. So he will be there in that naked position for the next 5, and so on and so forth. And you know the sad thing, such a lady might not even leave that place and go and stand for the truth. She might still go to those kind of bishops' churches. Quickly, I don't want to tell you a story, I want to preach the word. And so here, verse 6, he says, for of this sort, okay, we've addressed that. He said, they make captive of gullible women. They are gullible by the nonsense these people preach. He said, loaded down with sins, led away by various lusts, always learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Having said that, describe the circumstances we find ourselves, the Christianity we find ourselves in today. I'm showing us the end result of it. It leads to impotence. It leads to form, having a form of godliness, having no real power to confront the evil one, because at the base of such practices is the devil himself. Look at the devil went to meet Jesus in the wilderness of temptation and said, look, all these kingdoms and the glory of it, they are mine. I give it to whosoever I wish. I don't even give it to the most hardworking person. I don't give it to the most diligent. I give it to what? Whosoever I wish. And I wish for you, if only you will bow. So it leads to an impotent church. But what's the legacy left us? What did Jesus pay the price for? What did the apostles teach? What did they minister? What did they demonstrate? You need to know that for each of these apostles of the Lamb, even the one that was sent to the Gentiles, Paul by name, they all came out of Judaism. They had their cultures. They had their backgrounds. They were not nincompoops. They were intelligent people. Some were fishermen, some were tax collectors, some were traders, some were customs officials. But when they received Jesus, they set aside everything about sense. They set aside everything about circumstances. They set aside everything about culture. Remember, these apostles also came out of a culture. It was one of the struggles in Peter. Peter was the first apostle raised to minister to the Gentiles. It was one of his struggles. God, who gave the laws of Moses, God, who gave Judaism in the Old Testament, was now bringing a new move beyond the Jews, beyond Israel, to all nations. Peter was still stuck in the past of legalism. So when God was revealing to him, rise and eat, he said, no way. No way. I have never ate anything that is unclean all my life. And God made a statement, call not unclean what the Lord has cleansed. Meaning, really, you are true. It was unclean, but now I have a plan for it, so I've cleaned it all. What I'm trying to show us here is when each of these apostles, the ones who are fishermen, the ones who are tax collectors, the ones who are into whatever trade, when they came to Jesus, Paul was a lawyer. He described his former state as an aristocrat, as a legendary scholar under Gamaliel in Philippians chapter 3. But when he came to Jesus, he set aside sense. He went to the Corinthian Christians in 1 Corinthians chapter 2. You study from verse 1 to verse 5. He said, when I came to you, I came trembling.